Hello, hello. Welcome back to Stake Your Wealth live edition. You have Greg and Mary Daphne,
MD for short.
MD for short. And in our live sessions, what we like to do is do a deeper investigation into the lessons that we release. And the one we released this week is one that's near and dear to my heart because it's my own experience coming out of college, trying to figure out what on earth I'm supposed to do with my life.
Absolutely.
How I'm going to support myself, and make a dent in the world. And that was a very challenging experience for me.
Not just you, I think for all of us, for me too, right? Just that segue, the transition from college to the real world.
Yeah, and the expectations around it, right?
Yeah.
Particularly if you've been a hard worker in school, you want to do a good job outside of school, right? You want to keep up that track record, and you feel the pressure of your parents and your friends society, who say, these are the most important years of your life, like get your career set, lay a foundation for, long-term growth. And you're like, that all sounds great, but what do I do? I mean, how do I do that? And for me, what I felt the pressure was, okay, what this all sort of translates into is make as much money as possible, as fast as possible. And to do that, the clear winner, at least when I was that age, the clear winner was finance, right? There's no question, if you go into finance and you build a career for yourself, you will be wealthy, right? If you do well and sort of jump through the hoops, you're going to be wealthy. And so I decided, okay, fine. Finance then,
Finance it is.
Finance it is. So I did an internship in investment banking, and I figured, okay, I'm on my way. And then, of course, the crisis hit.
Yeah.
And my life totally changed. And I ended up doing things that I would have never dreamed of doing.
Same.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, why don't you talk, since, that whole video is about my experience. What was sort of your experience coming out of college?
Yeah, so coming out of college, we graduated right as the financial crisis came into fruition. And so I thought that I was I'm from New York, born and raised. And so my plan was to be in New York, get a job. I wanted to be in media. And, if it was like a YouTube, it would have been a YouTube. That would be my dream job, basically. So I interned at like MSNBC, NBC. Anyway, I wanted to do like that, like documentaries and that kind of thing. But it didn't really make sense to try to enter the job market at that time. So instead I went abroad because I really wanted to learn languages and continue learning languages and all that stuff. So I got a Fulbright grant, and that was really great because that paved the way to my cross-cultural communications, the teaching, and I'm so grateful for that opportunity to have done that. And that led me to be abroad for 6 years. And then I returned to New York. So at that time, I tried all different types of jobs that would not have been available to me in a recession. So I was in Istanbul, and I did TV anchoring, I did teaching, I did acting school, I did PR. I ran a PR and marketing department. I designed logos that ended up on billboards in Istanbul. Like, it was just like crazy as like a 20-year-old to be able to do all that. And so I was so grateful for these unique experiences that paved the way to what we're doing now at Exploring and Stake Your Wealth and our other channels, which is my dream job. So all of that is a way of saying, you think of one thing and you think of one direction you'll go down, but go down as many paths as you can and try as many things of interest to you and that pique your interest as you can, because that will lead you to do other things. And it's not about just accumulating wealth and building money. It's about at least for me, like following your passions, following your interests, and, making a living with the skills that you have so that you can, afford to live and breathe the air that is around you. But not like trying to go into one industry because you'll make money. At least that's not the way that I, went about things. So
Right. And look, again, you could do that. You could go
yeah,
into a
you could.
hiring industry and then pivot out of it once you
Yeah,
hit a certain
that's a
amount.
good point.
But the track record of people actually doing that is very low.
Yeah.
Right? That's the
Yeah.
reality. Once you start making money, we talked about this
Yeah.
last week,
Yeah.
lifestyle inflation.
Yeah,
Right?
that's true.
Once you start making a lot of money, you want to keep making more because the more money you make, the more money you spend. The more money you spend, the more money you need to continue that sort of outlay of cash.
And you get used to that lifestyle,
And you get used to it. You get accustomed to it, right?
to
All
it
the luxuries and amenities, and
Yeah.
you keep wanting to upgrade, and it's very hard. And then you start also taking on debt, right? You start leveraging your position. Maybe you get a house
Yeah,
that's costs more than you can afford at the moment because
Yeah.
you expect to make more money down the road,
Yeah.
right? And so it sort of locks you into this system that's
Yeah.
very hard to extricate yourself from.
Yeah.
And that's why, yes, you technically could make a lot of money early on and then go and do whatever you want. It's just really hard to do, A. And then B, let's say you pull it off, it's very hard to then switch course.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many people
yeah.
have tried to do that
And
and
they-
then just get stuck into
Yeah.
this intense, never-ending, career path.
Yeah. Well, and then also thinking about like the sacrifices people have to have made, or that they made at that point so that they could accumulate certain wealth, reach certain level of success that they deem is successful. What relationships were cost, what health maybe was cost, like, right? What was the cost of all of that?
Yeah, a lot of sacrifices
Yeah.
get made as well. And that's why I look at your story and I view it as like the perfect way to spend the first decade of your life, right? It's
Thank you.
In my opinion, it's to
That's
just
nice.
get as broad an exposure to the world as you can.
Yeah.
Because college prepares you for some things. It prepares you for, having an open mind.
Yeah.
Understanding there's a lot you don't know, like
Yeah.
learning to know what you don't know.
Yeah.
Right? And how to learn in general. So that's all very important.
And engaging with people, like how do you navigate a room with people?
Yeah,
How
a
do
mature discourse,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
How do you listen to other people's opinions but
Yeah.
still assert yourself?
Right. How do you agree to disagree? How do you disagree politely?
Right.
Yeah, all that
These
stuff.
are all vital skills,
Yeah.
but they still don't really prepare you for supporting yourself.
Yeah.
And so when you come out of college, yes, you have to pay the bills, no question. So we're not advocating, to go and basically live the life of a gypsy with.
No, not
you
at
know.
all. And I was remiss to not say that during my whole course of being in Istanbul, I had like at any given time 3 to 4 jobs. That's not an exaggeration, because there were things that I needed to do to pay the bills. So I did like teaching, which I loved, but then I did other types of like French teaching and tutoring on the side, communication consulting on the side, and like acting school. And so at any given time, it was just like constant like go,
Yeah.
go, 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 go.
Totally.
And that was great in my 20s when I, sacrificed sleep. That's the thing though, right? I sacrificed sleep.
but that's it. I think at
And that's
that
not
age,
sustainable for
it's not.
Yeah.
and it's not, and it doesn't need to be,
Yeah.
right? Take those years you have a lot of energy and curiosity and vitality.
Yeah.
So take advantage of that to pack as much in as you can.
Yeah.
Those are vital years, but they don't. What I'm trying to emphasize is they don't need to be the years that you get rich, right?
Yeah.
And they don't even need to be the years that you climb a corporate ladder to start getting rich.
Yeah.
Instead, there are years to set a foundation for understanding the world.
Yeah.
And once you've done that, you can come back to whatever sense of stability, whatever gives you stability, and then start to build on top of that. You have a really strong foundation and build something that's authentically you.
Yeah.
And in my experience and from all the successful people that I've heard
Yeah.
speak, right?
Yeah.
That's the beauty of podcasts these days. I
I
can
know,
listen to
it's
all the
amazing.
top founders
Yeah.
and people who've done really, really well for themselves. The majority of them, they got to where they were and where they are by being true to themselves
Yeah.
and pursuing something that was uniquely theirs.
Yeah.
To not being dissuaded by people saying you can't do this, that's impossible. And the reason they were able to do it in the face of all this sort of counter pressure
Yeah.
was because they knew the world, at least the aspect that they were focusing on, right? They developed that sense of confidence
Yeah.
to persevere in a very difficult and unstructured environment.
Yeah. And it's also a great opportunity to get to know yourself at that time, right?
Totally.
So really like figuring out what you're good at and what you like but might not be that good at, and room for improvement, like what you can work on, and trying things that you never tried before, right, professionally, and maybe picking up some hobbies, really like expanding your mind with the different jobs available to you, and just being aware that the job that your first job will not be what you're stuck in for the rest of your life if you don't want it to be, right?
That's such an important point, right? That there is this fear that the first job you have dictates the rest of your career. And I see this a lot, actually. These studies drive me nuts, where it's like, well, studies show that the amount of money you make in your first job dictates the amount of money you're going to make the rest of your life. And, you know, if you stay in that same industry,
Right.
and
Never get promoted.
well, it's just that you don't develop yourself as a person.
Yeah.
If you're not passionate about it, then yeah, that might be the case. But if you, how can that study possibly be true if you completely switch industries?
Yeah.
Or you develop completely new skills.
So many new skills.
That catapult you into a whole new, you know, profession.
Yeah.
So,
also, like treating skills as a currency is so important, right?
Yeah.
Like learning new skills and constantly accumulating in terms of skills is very good.
yeah, skills, knowledge, experiences.
Yeah.
These are the things that really make you wealthy. These are the
Yeah.
things that really equip you to be successful.
Yeah.
And successful in the you know, the most rich and holistic sense of the
And
word.
almost, I dare say, self-sustaining, right? Because
Well, yeah.
if you have a 9 to 5 and you get laid off or it doesn't work out, if you're building skills on the side, then you have some leverage, right? You have something to lean back on. You have something to fall back on. You can take those skills and turn them into a job. You can take those skills and turn them into a side hustle or a full-time thing, like an entrepreneurial adventure.
Yeah, they make you very resilient. And actually, in next week's video, we go through the steps to building wealth.
That's awesome.
And one of those has to do with the importance of having multiple streams of income. And
Yeah.
that's, you know, sort of what you were getting at, the side hustle.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. You know, the more that you expose yourself to different ways to solve problems, right? When you talk about making money, what it really is, you're solving problems, right?
Right.
And at the basic sense, if you're an employee, you're solving problems for the
Someone
company.
else's problems.
Well, you're solving problems for the company.
Yeah.
And if you're a company, you're solving problems for your customers. If you're a founder, that's the same thing. You kind of are the company.
Right.
Right. But you're always solving problems. People pay you to solve their problems.
Yeah.
One way or another. Whether
Finding
it's
solutions.
hunger,
Yeah.
whether it's, you know, calculations, it's always solving problems. So if you learn and spend the first few years of your life, sort of adult life, figuring out what the problems are, what problems people are experiencing, you can then commit later years to solving those problems. Yeah. So
there's so much on this topic.
I know. It's something I get very spirited with.
Same. And we should revisit it and comment below with your own experiences, your own questions about this, and your journey, you know, as well. Yeah,
exactly. If you've already been through this and have advice to give, please give it. Share it, right?
Share your story.
That enriches the community. If you're just getting started on your adventure, let us know what you're thinking, and you know, maybe other people can weigh in. But most important, you know, be true to yourself. Understand what's important to you, and then pursue that first and foremost. And the money follows. And if you're smart about it, even as you're getting started, you can still make enough money to sort of support what it is that you want to do. All right. Well, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And we will catch you next time on the next live and in our lessons. So
happy wealth staking.
Happy wealth staking.